So this week's commentary is inspired by some recent events that have led me to want to cover the 7 possibly deadly assumptions that investors make. So this week we're going to cover the 7 deadly assumptions. I have no doubt I'll unpack 1 or 2 of these in a full commentary down the road. My hope is just that you listen to these 1 or 2, jump up, and you keep them in mind, that you're a little bit more careful around those subject matters as you head down the road. Number 1 is worry. How you think about worrying, maybe that you don't worry, and that somehow correlates to the future you're likely going to have. For Mr. Worrier, this is Mr. Excel spreadsheet, Mr. Newsletter. Thinks if he grinds hard enough, he's going to create a great outcome. The reality we see, narrowly focused portfolios because you've got some blind spots. Strained relationship communication in terms of finances. Unhealthy stress loads that people carry. Conversely, we see other people, they're not worried about it. And they assume, hey, if I'm comfortable today, whether that's their worry or the finances they have today, it'll always be okay. The reality is, if you want to maintain that lifestyle you have today into retirement, when that paycheck dries up, you need to have some proper planning. You need to be putting money away. And most of the plans that we see people bring in are actually not viable plans. Point number 2, my familiarity or feelings towards something corresponding to the risk that I'll be taking getting into that. Where we see this most commonly is people who fall in love with a company. You love your Apple computer, you love your Nike shoes, you love your Starbucks latte. Of course, those companies have done well. You fall in love with a story about this new company, this new product, this new coin that's coming out. Just because you like the story, just because you like the product, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a great investment. A great company is not always a great investment at a given moment in time either. Point number 3, my advisor cares and is knowledgeable. This maybe should be a commentary, maybe I shouldn't say anything about it at all, but the guys and I talk about it all the time. We'll get out in groups, as we were here recently, around other advisors, and we're just shocked by the things that people say. I mean, as God is my witness, we're sitting around here, we're talking about our passion projects. What are we going to do next? What can we do within the office? What portfolio ideas have you had? What communication did you do with the client that really resonated? You get out with typical advisors, it's all about their lifestyle. Hey, yeah, we do this. I don't even carry an office. I get to work this kind of workload. They ask questions that should be able to be answered by the most rudimentary staff member of any investment firm. So again, my point here is just because they've got years of experience, just because they're personable, doesn't mean they're going to be effective. You would pick a surgeon, you would pick something that's very important to you, a pilot, based off their competency first and foremost. And you want to have a great bedside manner, but make sure they're competent. Your family's retirement, your future is on the line. Point number 4, past performance is indicative of the future. You're like, well, Tim, I've read in every pamphlet that that's not the case. Yeah, I know it. And you know it when you're not being triggered emotionally. But the reality is, case in point, my examples of Apple, Tesla, Bitcoin. Every time we hear someone come in with an idea and we ask them, hey, why did you want to do that? We almost invariably hear, well, have you looked at what this thing has done in the last year? It's up 300%. If that happens again, my retirement will be set. I agree on the math. I just don't agree that it's necessarily going to happen. So again, it's something we all can fall prey to. We will talk about past performance, but what we're really talking about is long-term market trends, kind of truths, the gravity between how markets work, not looking at a singular stock or even asset class, its recent performance, and presuming that's something we can extrapolate out even 6 months, let alone 6 or 16 years. Number 5, good choices lead to good retirements. We've hit on this in the past. A lot of people move through life thinking that their intentions towards things will connect to then the outcome that they're going to have. You see this all the time. I'm guilty of it in my interpersonal relationships. I have good intentions, but what I was intending to come off is not how it came off. How that manifests within retirement planning is people say, well, hey, I wanted to help my kids go through school, or it was a family trip, or we wanted to have great time skiing or doing whatever they can. Those are all good things, and you should do some of them, assuming you can afford them. But going through life making good intention choices isn't necessarily going to lead to the savings rates and the overall financial plan to help you have a good retirement. So understand that disconnect, really build out that plan. And once you have that plan, all those good things that are good that you can do, you know you can afford them without, again, stealing from your future. Point number 6, my feelings will stay the same. This could be about anything, so you can fill in the blank. I feel like I could work till I'm 75. I hear that a lot from people in their 30s and 40s. I rarely see the same vigor in people in their 50s and 60s. And so again, understand fatigue is real. How you feel about it. There's countless studies done where the average American thinks they're going to work till 65, and the average American actually retires closer to 60. Could be a health event that you didn't expect. Could just be the fact that you burn out. But your feelings are going to change. Number 2, what's important today is what's going to be important tomorrow. One of the things we always help clients plan for, particularly if their plan's kind of tight, is, hey, don't forget about the grandkids. So when you're in your 40s, as I am with your little kids, you're just thinking about how you can get through today. For me, it was last night at 4 o'clock when the fire alarm went off. You're thinking about how I can get my kids through school. You're not thinking necessarily about the fact that these grandbabies are going to come into your world and change your universe, and we see it time and time again that they will. And so having someone come alongside you, help you plan for what's going to come down the road, again, a key benefit of what we hope to do. Lastly, because I'm probably running over time, that the status quo is safer. So this is the big grand finale. This can manifest in a lot of different ways, but I know change can feel scary. Sometimes not changing is scary. I'm going to touch on 2 quick things. Number 1, cash. Inflation is real. I wish they would send you a purchasing power statement, not just a balance statement, because I think if people saw these wads of cash that they don't need today sitting in their checking and savings account going down by 3 to 5% every month, they'd be spurred into action. But you're kind of like the frog in boiling water when it just looks the same month after month. Similarly, and this is the point of the written article in this week's commentary from a third party, that 60-40, that kind of traditional take on how to invest money is dead. It feels safe. It has worked in the past. In my opinion, it's not likely to work in the future. So again, don't get lulled into a false sense of security from the status quo. In conclusion, we got into this business because we love to help people. We love the joy when someone gets to enter into that retirement they always hope to have, but it doesn't happen automatically. And these assumptions that we see over and over and over again, and any of us can fall prey to, are the culprits more times than not to keeping people from achieving that end that they hope to see. If that's you, pull them into your consciousness. If it's a loved one who's worrying or working with someone they shouldn't be, talk to them about it. But as always, we're here to help. Thanks so much.